What up, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing episode 20 of Dragon Ball Daima. This is the final episode of Dragon Ball Daima as a whole. So we're going to go through what happened in this episode, some of the interesting stuff in the end of this episode. And I also want to talk about some of the theories that I had of the show and the ending of the show that I thought it was going to go in the direction. And I want to talk about how wrong I was because after seeing this episode, I was wrong about most of this stuff, or not all, like not most stuff, but quite a bit of the stuff throughout, Dragon Ball Daima, especially about the ending and which direction they were going to go. Though I was right about one thing in particular, which I do want to talk about a little bit later because I had a lot of people disagreeing with me on this. Not on my videos, but I I've been going on other people's videos where people have been talking about Daima and I'm gonna just say about the canonicity of Dragon Ball Daima, of its canon or not. A lot of people are saying it is. I've been saying no because a lot of things contradict. It'd be canon with Dragon Ball Super, but they say no, no, they're gonna explain it. They're gonna explain it, especially with episode 20. And I'm gonna go and explain what happened in episode 20 so you guys can understand why I was right and these people were wrong. And I want to just talk about that because after seeing this whole episode, that made me pretty excited. And also, I do want to talk about the show as a whole because now since it's wrapped up, we can talk about what I thought about the whole show and my feelings towards it. So let's first get into it. It starts off automatically with Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Daima, not Daima, versus Goma. He's versus Goma, and as they're both fighting, Goku, even in the first punch, hits him so hard that he smacks him down to the ground, and you see this light in this crazy ass graphics and aura and the ground cracking and stuff. It just looks so cool. So if you guys thought the animation was dope in the last episode, this episode they went all out. And this show as a whole, there was not a single episode that I saw where I thought the animation looked bad or the art looked bad. It was always at peak. Even at the times where it was like more, not as crazy stuff happening, it was still good. It just wasn't like over the top. But that's because, like, why would you make it over the top unless there's gonna be fighting in it, right? So it was good throughout the entire thing. So the art style, the animation was perfect. I haven't seen a show being this perfect looking ever. So this was pretty much perfect in my eyes. But yeah, he slams him down. You see this crazy ass light show. You see a back and forth between him and Goma. There was quite a bit of fighting there, so I'm just gonna skip through it because there wasn't, anything story progression wise in that. But it was cool, the fights back and forth, Goku going around, showing his speed and the tremendous amount of difference of his power as an adult versus a child. Like, yeah, we knew that as when they got turned into children, they got weaker, but we didn't expect them to get this much weaker because when he fought him in Super Saiyan 4 as a kid, it wasn't that impressive. A lot of people were saying Super Saiyan 4 isn't that strong, but now that he fought him as an adult, even though I would say it still wasn't as insane as like what we saw Super Saiyan God do when it first got introduced, it was still quite impressive and it was doing some crazy shit. Like the fight was insane, back and forth. Goma was getting dominated the entire time. You could see clearly that all the third eye was being able to do was keep him safe and protect him from completely getting destroyed, but it just wasn't enough to give him power over Goku. And they were fighting back and forth. And then at one point, Goku charges up a Kamehameha. He goes all out, powers up, energy flying everywhere. This energy is going crazy, and he charges up for the Kamehameha. He fires it, blasted right straight through him, blasting a hole through him, and then hitting the ceiling of the first demon world, which is the floor of the second demon world, and then going through all the other demon, or yeah, the second one. Then we were going through all of them to hit the third, and then it busted a hole breaking between all those dimensions. So it's basically Goku's power shining through all the dimensions and breaching the separation between those dimensions to make it more open, and the water was flowing out of there. And he blasted a hole through him, so it looked like he basically hurt him badly and was going to take him out. So Piccolo thought this was a perfect opportunity to jump in and take him out. So he punched him 2 times about him the third time, but it was going slow, and I was like, he's going to stop him. So he countered him by swinging back fisting him, knocking him down. And then he started to re-heal himself, which I expected as much. And then they try to stop him and attack him, but he created the energy barrier. He activated his power, and the energy barrier sent them flying back, which when I saw that, I'm like, they're definitely, I mentioned this a couple times before, but this whole fight and the ending of Daima is just literally set up so they can have this whole fight for like, video games and like a battle arena because you have a giant boss who gets even bigger, who has an even more transformed state. You have a new transformation with Super Saiyan for Goku, and then them fighting as an adults. And then you also have this battle arena, and then you also have, him now shifting the battle arena and making it more dangerous. And also at one point when they were fighting, they Goku got punched in through the platform down deep inside, and it looked like one of the maps in Xenoverse. You've seen the one dimension with the weird crystals. It looked like the time dimension. So it looked pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's kind of probably a nod to the game. So that was cool. But yeah, he punched him through there, but they did all that stuff. And he was getting back. And then this is when Majin Buu jumped in, which I like the surprise because, Majin Buu is one of those characters where we thought he was gonna be a big threat when they were first saying they were gonna make a complete version of Buu. And then he came out and we're like, okay, his design looks kind of whack, but maybe he might be good. But then he was weak and he seemed a little too nice, which I liked him as a character, but I also thought he was kind of terrible as a villain because he was supposed to be an enemy, but he wasn't really much of a villain. So he comes in with the book and hits Goma in the back of the head 3 times, popping it out of his head, and Goma goes back to being small. And I was just like, wait, so he could hit him fast enough to knock it out of his head, but Piccolo couldn't. But then I remember Piccolo was winding up his punches. I do not know why. It's just stupid. Why are you winding up your punches? Just hit him in 3 quick successions. We know you're fast enough to do it. He could do it. Why didn't you? He literally was wasting time clocking back his punches and his kicks. Just hit him quick. But yeah, so Majin Buu got that, and that was actually very important that Majin Buu got because that actually does add into the whole story as a whole about him, the importance of it, and I'm gonna explain a little bit about why that is. So now he's beaten, he's been captured, and he's been tamed. Um, Arisu comes out with the other witch lady, and they have the bottle, and they're saying, "We're gonna trap you now for 100 years for your crime." And they bring out Degusu also, saying, "Hey, you're both going in there." And then Pickle's like, "Hey, look, he was a nice guy. He didn't kill Dende." He's like, "Yeah, see, I'm a good guy." And he's like, "Yeah, we can make it 99 years." So we went from 100 to 99, which isn't that much better, but that made me laugh. And then they trap him in there, but apparently it wasn't too bad. They said there was a garden and stuff, and they had video games, and we do see that later on. They literally have a console and shit. So I'm like, why are you bitching? You literally, you literally were stealing people's life. You were draining the life force out of their body, killing them earlier, being a tyrant, and then trying to attack these guys and kidnapping Dende. You have no room to cry about being punished for your crime, both of you. And it's not even that bad. So whatever. But they had that. Then we had them like talking a little bit because the fight is over. There, Arisu said she's gonna become the demon king and then rule there and then come after them still. But then they find out that that's not how it works. It's whoever beats the former demon king becomes a new one, and says Majin Buu is the one who knocks it out of his head. He wanted, so he's the new king, and he becomes the new ruler, which I was like, that makes sense. That's good because he isn't that much of an evil character. And I guess that's why they made him not an evil character. So he can rule the demon realm as a righteous ruler instead of a malicious one. So it's crazy because y- y- technically Arisu created him like a day or two ago. So he's only been around for like a few days and he's already the ruler of the entire demon realm, which is pretty crazy in my eyes. And then he made her the vice demon king, which is pretty much just like being a president at this point. Like there's not even that's not even how monarchies work. It was like he's the president, she's the vice president. Then he made them all ministers. He tried to make the rest of the ministers too, like from the Z fighters, but they're like, now, like we're going back to our home. Goku's like, I'm done with this shit. We had our adventure, we had our fun, we did the Dragon Ball thing. I'm done. Let's get back, okay? So they were like, okay, we're going back, and people were, speculating maybe, Nebi might be evil, but he's not. He just wanted his people there, and he was willing to do what he can to, get younger and help his people out. But yeah, now they're all getting ready to leave. They're all talking and stuff, and we don't get anything interesting said there besides, just him setting up that. But we do get something interesting later on, which is a little confusing, but it's quite interesting from both Goku and Vegeta. But I just want to talk a little bit about how the fact that they ended everything off. They had everything perfect. They didn't do too much. It was just a simple ending where they beat the big threat and then they just went off and then they had a bit of discussions. But one thing we did find out, which was really interesting, which we thought it was a different way. We find out more about Super Saiyan 4. First, Vegeta's giving him shit. He's like, man, you had this transformation and you didn't even, talk about it or show it like with Super Saiyan 3 thing. So he was pissed off and I was like, why are you mad? He didn't get this form. Like, it's not like he just had this form and didn't want to use it. It was given to him by Navi. You saw it right there. But apparently that wasn't true. I was wrong. Because Goku literally confirmed that not only is it is this form actually Super Saiyan 4? So yes, it is Super Saiyan 4, but also this transformation on top of it being Super Saiyan 4, um, was something that he trained for. He said, "Yeah, I've been training for a while now, ever since after the Buu fight. I realized how strong he was, and I needed a new form. Super Saiyan 3 wasn't enough to beat him, so I need a new form." He's like, "I've been training and I didn't get to use it until now." So now I'm like, wait. So it wasn't even Navi that did it. So what was the whole point of him showing up and doing that? So Goku already had it, and this brings a lot of questions in my mind. One, if you already had Super Saiyan 4, why didn't you use it? Why did you waste time going Super Saiyan 3 and doing all this other stuff? Why did you go Super Saiyan 4 from the jump? And then two, where was the hint and mention of it? And then three, why did they have the Sino and Navi doing that? Unless maybe Goku was on the cusp of unlocking Super Saiyan 4 and he was like, you know how he, before he even got ascended form, he was thinking about getting it and then training for it. So maybe he trained for it and was like on the cusp of obtaining Super Saiyan 4, but just need a little bit of a push. And having Navi, do that maybe might have done it, or maybe him thinking that him being in his kid form that he couldn't go in Super Saiyan 4 because he could barely do it in his adult form or struggling to do it in his adult form. But that also explains why he was able to go into the form easily, because people are assuming, and we all thought, because that's what they showed, that, Navi activated his power. So it's like, it was a power given to him and he couldn't just go in Super Saiyan 4 through his own sheer strength. So when he did that last episode, we were surprised. We were like, oh, he could just do it, reactivate it naturally. So there was that. We got a confirmation the name Super Saiyan 4, but it was like even confirmed before that. Uh, but the biggest thing was him already having it. So it's like, Vegeta was right to be mad, and he also gave the, iconic line of Super Saiyan bargain sale, which it's not really a bargain sale because he's the only one who has it and he trained for it. So the meme about, guess what, Vegeta? And then he's like, what, Super Saiyan 3? He's like, no, Super Saiyan 4 actually does work in this context because it wasn't given to him. He just unlocked it himself, which is important because some people mentioned uh, something about Super Saiyan 4 and like Dragon Ball Super and him using it and stuff. But then Vegeta said something that I thought at first it was a joke, but then I stopped to think, is this true? And this also changes something that we might have thought in the show, because same thing with Super Saiyan 4. Goku's like, well, why are you mad? You got Super Saiyan 3. And I was like, man, Super Saiyan 3 ain't shit. You just got another form. That's why he's mad. But then he was like, is that this transformation? And he said it's Ultra Vegeta 1. And I was laughing. I was like, because the whole joke about, we have like, I'm Super Vegeta, which that was the ascended form. And then people were saying that the higher form that Trunks went into, which Goku also showed for a brief moment when he was explained to Gohan, was, his Ultra form. That was like Ultra Super Saiyan. So you had Ascended Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan. Or no, just, yeah, Ascended Super Saiyan to Ultra Super Saiyan. Now, apparently he made that as a reference. So I thought he was maybe making that as a joke about this being, Ultra Super Saiyan or whatever. So that was my thought. But what it seems like for me now, I'm just like kind of contemplating is, was this actually a joke or was this actually real? So, um, if it's a joke, then it's obviously just a joke. But if it's real, that means that Vegeta didn't have Super Saiyan 3 and he got a different form, like one of the great forms where they had the Ascended form and then that other form. So is this its own thing? Is this not Super Saiyan 3? Uh, some people might be like, no, this is its own Super Saiyan 3 because we had the original concept art, but just because something was original concept art that Toriyama had does not mean he's going to use it for this, because there was the confusion about his hair. A lot of people said, well, that's his own style, but I'm just like, yeah, but that wouldn't make any sense if they all have their own Super Saiyan 3 hairstyle, because we saw with Gotenks, he literally had the same hairstyle as Goku. So if they all have their own unique one, why does he have the same exact one as Goku? Because Gotenks does not have the same hairstyle as Goku, so why would he have the same hairstyle when he transforms into Super Saiyan 3? And but Vegeta doesn't. So maybe he does not have Super Saiyan 3 to begin with, Vegeta. Maybe this is Ultra Saiyan or Ultra Super Saiyan or Ultra Super Saiyan 2, whatever. Who knows? We need a little bit more explanation because that threw a little bit of confusion in there, just like with the Super Saiyan 4 thing. So those two little instances really confused me. The Super Saiyan 4 one a bit, but this one completely. I'm now wondering, is this actually Super Saiyan 3 or is this just an Ultra thing? And I wonder if other people are going to catch on this or they're just going to ignore it and say just Super Saiyan 3 or whatever. But yeah, now I'm confused. Did he actually get Super Saiyan 3 or his own form, which is just as powerful as Super Saiyan 3 or is impressive or assumed to be Super Saiyan 3? And some people might think, well, Goku said it was Super Saiyan 3, but Goku doesn't know what Super Saiyan 3 would be on Vegeta, so he probably assumed that this power was close enough or whatever. Because then why would Vegeta say that? even if it's a joke, it makes no sense. So we had that, right? We have them trying to all leave, and then one funny scene, they're all waving goodbye, and Vegeta is just like dead inside because Goku got another transformation. So Pansy picks up his hand, starts waving it. It was pretty funny. I was laughing my ass off. But yeah, they're leaving, and they have the whole ending song where they're showing the credits and stuff, and they also show Goma and Degusu. They're in the dimension. They literally have a console. I'm like, why are these guys bitching? They literally have technology in this dimension. Most of the people when they get put into another dimension for committing a crime, it's like a hell dimension or a prison dimension or a dimension where they can't move or do anything. Like you literally got video games and you got like it seems like a paradise. It doesn't seem like torture. You still got technology. You can check Facebook and shit, I guess, if you want to, because you're old as shit. But yeah, they had that. They showed them all going older, and then they had the ending stuff of the story, which I assumed that they were going to show some stuff in the ending. I thought it was going to be more important, but it wasn't that important. Though it was a little bit, Goku's like talking to Glorio. He's like, hey, man, I lost the revive bugs and all the other bugs. So can we go and shop again and get them? I was like, why would you need them? The fight is very over. But he said they're long, centipedes. And I also want to talk about that because I made a prediction that he was going to fuse with Vegeta, and a lot of people did. They were doing concept art of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta fused with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And also this means Vegeta didn't get Super Saiyan 4, but we assumed that it was going to be like a gold/red mix, which would have been cool looking and unique, but we didn't get that at all. So we were just like wondering what's happening with that. But yeah, that didn't happen, but they went to get bugs. They went to the shop, they're looking at all these bugs, and then they found this, Pansy found this one that was really dirty. She blew on the jar. Also, I forgot to mention that Glorio smashed the third eye, destroying it, so there's no longer the third eye. But they blew at the thing, and they saw in the jar there was two third eyes in there. She's like, yeah, the shopkeeper's like, yeah, we just had them and stuff, and somebody bought one before. I'm like, what the fuck? You guys have more of these? But apparently these are the only other ones. They said there's only three, so there's two more. And they just ended off on that. I wonder, did they take it? Did they destroy it? Did they buy it and just keep it? I mean, can you imagine if they took it, the Z Fighters took it to the regular, living world, and then just in case of things got too hairy, that they would use it at some point, but who knows? But yeah, that was pretty much the end of the show. We didn't get to see the Majin Rhymus. Like, I said in the last episode, I was like, I hope we get to see him because they mentioned it, but I don't think we are, or we didn't. I also assumed that we might get something interesting for the future drama. We didn't, but we did get a cool thing with the whole third eye thing, which threw me off. I'm like, what the hell? That's crazy to think that there was like two more of those. But whatever. Because if there was two more, the Audiensu and can you imagine Audiensu and both Degisu getting their own? They would have had all these three fighting for the position of the Demon King or whatever. But that was it for that. I do want to talk about my predictions. Most of my predictions were wrong. Goku did not fuse. He did not use the fusion bugs. People were talking about, they mentioned the fusion bugs. They showed it. We thought they were going to use it. They didn't. There was no point of showing it unless they were trying to fuck with us. I don't know why. The only thing I can think is Toriyama was trying to mess with us as fans in our heads to assume that it's going to happen. And that's why, because he does like fucking with people a lot for some reason. So maybe that might have been the case. But for me, I just don't know. I was like, why did they add it? I thought they were going to do it, but they didn't. A lot of the predictions were wrong. Super Saiyan 4 was enough, and it was very powerful. Vegeta, once again, got screwed over. Goku got a higher transformation, and even though Ku knocked it out of his head, Goku was pretty much the one who was beating him and pretty much beat him, so I'll give that dub to Goku anyway. But yeah, my predictions on that was wrong, but one thing that I was right on 100% was the show is not canon. A lot of people were disagreeing with me, saying I'm an idiot, I'm a dumbass, I don't know what I'm talking about. Episode 19, right? When Goku went to Super Saiyan 4 again, I mentioned a couple of times that there are some defenses that these Daima fanboys can use. But not like Daima, but these guys are wanting to make the show canon as much as possible to Dragon Ball Super, saying, it's canon, it's canon. And I've been pretty much the only fucking one vocal saying it's not canon. Maybe there might have been a few other YouTubers or people saying it, but I was mostly the only one saying this shit is not canon. Everybody else, every other Dragon Ball YouTuber has been making videos saying it's canon, it's canon, it's canon. Acting like it's been confirmed instead of, leaving up, to be speculated, right? That's the thing I hate about Dragon Ball fans. They have their own head canon, and instead of, them saying, well, this is just my theory or thought on it, they make it sound like it's 100% true. Whereas me, I always leave it open-ended. They never leave it open-ended. And you know that when you question and say, maybe this might not be the case, and they're like, no, no, it's exactly the case. How are you guys gonna say that this is just my thought on it and then get butthurt when somebody says, no, it might not be true, and say, no, no, it's 100% the case? At that point, it's no longer your theory. It's literally just you thinking that this is what it is or this is canon. So yeah, these guys need to stop with their cockiness and their arrogance saying stupid shit. I saw so many people making videos about Super Saiyan 4 is canon, Super Saiyan 4 is canon. I'm just like, guys, you guys need to first check out and see if the show itself is canon before you say Super Saiyan 4 is canon. Yeah, the show, you can't argue that the transformation is canon when you can't even argue of the show itself that the transformation came from is canon. And it's clearly not, because the show is not canon. And this, because when the first Super Saiyan 4 came, everyone's like, this is cool, but they're like, this is confusing because of its canon to Daima. It doesn't make any sense that he would have Super Saiyan 4, Goku would have Super Saiyan 4 and not, like I mentioned, not use it, not mention it, not have any hint of Super Saiyan 4 in Dragon Ball Super and in Battle of Gods at all. But he has this form. It would make no sense. So the only way that it would make sense for him to not mention or not show it would be simply that he doesn't have Super Saiyan 4, and this is not canon. And the mangas also disagreed with it when Goku goes Super Saiyan God. At one point, he said, this is my fourth transformation. So Goku literally states that it's his fourth. If he had Super Saiyan 4, that would have been his fourth, and Super Saiyan God would have been his fifth. But people are saying, oh no, the writing is just dumb, they got it wrong. I'm like, no, it's just not canon. This came after Dragon Ball Super. That's why it's not in there. These guys are dumb. So yeah, this is me having my bragging rights. I've been waiting for this episode to drop specifically for this because people have been giving me shit for it. I went on other people's videos because people keep on or making stupid theories of for some reason Navi is gonna wipe out their or erase their memories on this. I'm like, why is he gonna erase their memory on the demon realm and their power? Why would Goku forget his memory erased about Super Saiyan 4 and forget about it? Even if he did, him powering up to full power, he would have unlocked his Super Saiyan 4 already, and he would have been like, the fuck, where does this come from? So that would have happened. Some people are saying, oh no, no, is the power's going to deactivate at the end of this series. He just can go into it again, but it's going to go away. Clearly not. This is his own transformation. He didn't get it given to him as stated. So that 100% even further confirms that it's not canon. Because if it was given by Navi, you could have argued something, but even then it's not an arguable, because I would give the defense of it might be a temporary power up, not a permanent one. But he used it again, so it's not temporary. He can go into it, and on top of it, it was his own that he trained for. Also, people were giving shit to Daima, saying, you guys give shit to GT for having, Vegeta, using Bulma, giving him Super Saiyan 4. Well, Goku got Super Saiyan 4 given to him by, Nava. But that isn't true, since Goku literally stated he trained for it. So no, Vegeta was giving it to him by Bulma, which was bullshit, whereas Goku actually trained for it. Also, that was another argument people said that, oh, Goku probably had the form and just didn't want to use it because, it wasn't something he trained for, it was something he was given to him. I was like, that's a fucking stupid argument. So you're telling me that he doesn't mention or use Super Saiyan 4 at all in Dragon Ball Super simply because he's embarrassed the fact that he didn't unlock the power throughout his training and it was just given to him, when he still uses Super Saiyan God, which was 100% a transformation that was given to him and he didn't train for at all. This one he actually did train for, so they even confirmed that, so that was retarded. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people they're making videos, Dragon Ball YouTubers, making it sound like it's confirmed that at the end of this episode, they're going to explain everything and fix everything. I was like, no, they're not. Toriyama doesn't do that. He's just going to give you some cool concept and idea and then talk about it and then move on forward. He's not going to write reasons why. And there was another thing that also made not canon that I talked about early on in the show, but I just want to keep on going on this. But yeah, they were saying that he was going to erase their memories. That was wrong. They said Super Saiyan 4 was going to be temporary. That was wrong. They said Super Saiyan 4 was, given to him by Navi. And since it was in the demon realm, he could only use it in the demon realm. I said that was stupid. A lot of people were like, how was that stupid? They were telling me that this being non-canon is a dumbass idea, but apparently Super Saiyan 4 being a transformation that Goku could only use in the demon realm makes sense. So you're telling me this dumbass idea that you came up with him being only able to use Super Saiyan 4 in the demon realm makes sense, but my idea and concept of this show being non-canon is dumb. It could being non-canon makes sense. What about it? What about that is stupid? There's clearly something stupid about this, about arguing that this series is what's the thing called? the series is canon in just that he can't use Super Saiyan 4 outside the demon realm. That sounds retarded. You're saying me saying that the show is not canon is stupid, but that is reasonable. You guys are fucking idiots. That's stupid as shit. That's the dumbest thing ever. It was dumb. It's like the whole, Goku Black thing. Goku Black's not actually really Goku. He's Goten who's mad at Goku and he becomes evil. That theory was retarded, and that just shows the level of intelligence and deep thinking that these fans have. Those are the concepts that these idiots come up with. Goku Black's not real Goku. He's actually Goten, who turned evil and got mad at Goku because he was never there. Super Saiyan 4 Goku's not transformation he can naturally use. It's only one he can use specifically in the demon realm. This whole events that transpired in Dragon Ball Daima got erased from their memory by Navi for no reason. Why? So all those arguments people had, no. It is only non-canon, especially with him, obtaining through training. And it makes no sense for Goku not to use it, not to remember it, not to, have it even mentioned or anything like that. And then also the whole thing about, like I mentioned, throughout the most of the time, people keep on trying to act like it's not that big of a deal. But the fact that in Dragon Ball Super, Supreme Kai and Kibito were fused until we got to the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament, and Goku saw them and was like, yo, you guys separated? He's like, yeah, we separated not too long ago. We used the Dragon Balls to separate. And Goku's like, that's why I couldn't assess your energy. But in this show, he already knew that they were separated. They already mentioned it, and it was way earlier. It was only a year after Buu Saga, and they mentioned it was going through Buu's body instead of using the Dragon Balls to defuse. So the method was different, the timing was different, and Goku's knowledge of what happened was different too. So there was that. And now with the Super Saiyan 4 thing not really adding up, it was a cool thing, but it doesn't add up to canon, which I'm happy they did that because that dispels the stupid arguments that people have been making. So yeah, I know I've been ranting a little bit, but I have the bragging rights. People have been calling me a dumbass the entire time. Dragon Ball YouTubers been making videos confirming that it is canon and arguing, this is why Dragon Ball Daima is actually canon. I'm like, you made no real points. You just said it is canon. The only thing that was closest thing to making it canon was showing the other, Supreme Kais that we saw in Dragon Ball Super. But like I said, you can still take stuff and ideas from the canon source material and put in a non-canon source material, and that source material is still not canon. Just because they show that doesn't disprove the whole, fused, Supreme Kai shit. And then especially this thing now. So yeah, Super Saiyan 4 is not canon. This show is not canon. All these other people that argue with me are retarded. All their arguments were retarded. I'm going to talk all my shit because I have every right to. Just like when Saiyan Scholar said Super Saiyan 4 was going to appear in the show and everyone's like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. He had the right to talk his shit. I have the right to talk my shit because I've been the only few person or people in the Dragon Ball community that has been saying this show consistently is not canon, but everybody else has been arguing against me and giving me shit. Like I said, I went on to some people's YouTube channels where they've been putting a post or making like YouTube shorts or videos talking about it, and the fans arguing in the comment section about why this is going to be the case, what they're going to do, and then how they're going to explain it. I said, that's not going to be the case. And some guy's been arguing with me, and you know what he said? He's like, wait until the episode drops out. They're going to explain everything. I'm like, they never explain everything. That's not how Dragon Ball works. When was the last time that Toriyama still hasn't explained what the... I mean, he's dead now, but he didn't even explain what Super Saiyan Rage was. That shit came out of nowhere. He didn't explain what the fuck that was, but he's supposed to explain why Goku doesn't use Super Saiyan 4 in, Dragon Ball Super. He's obviously not, so I'm going to go back to talking shit to him. So yeah, I know I went on a little bit of tangent, but I just had to. So the show's not canon. Super Saiyan 4 is not canon. A lot of stuff don't add up. The Super Saiyan 4 stuff and, I would say, what's his name? The Supreme Kai thing adding up is not makes not canon also. And the show as a whole, I thought Dragon Ball Daima wasn't bad. I think a lot of people have been over exaggerating Dragon Ball Daima's like how good it is. So people said this is the best thing we've gotten from Dragon Ball in the last 10 years, or like this is the best thing from Dragon Ball in the modern age or decade. Is better than this and that. And I'm just like, dude, calm down. You can like the show. I don't have a problem with that. The only thing I have a problem with is overhyping it to such an extent. So yeah, people, I feel like they've been over exaggerating it. You can like it, but to say that it's the best thing that we've got in the modern age of Dragon Ball, or it's one of the best and the show is amazing. People saying the show is peak and it's perfect. It's like, the show is not perfect. It's good stuff, but a lot of you guys are forgetting most of the show was kind of nothing happening in it. There's a lot of repetitive stuff, a lot of boring stuff. These last few episodes have been fire, but we had 3 or 4 episodes in succession that were straight up ass. We had 3 or 4 episodes that were complete trash, and this show is only 20 episodes long. So 4 out of 20 is quite a bit of episodes to have trash. That means 16 episodes were only decent. And even within the 16 episodes, not all of them are good because a lot of times they had the plane breaking, them fighting against hordes of weaklings, them going and do small things, them having stupid pointless scenes like Goku taking a shit, this stuff and that stuff. I love the lore dumps. I love the explanation. I love the learning more about this world. I just didn't like wasting time on stupid stuff. Like if you're gonna do it, at least give us some cool interactions, some fun story, some, lore, some fights. Don't just waste it on stupid things. So for people saying it's peak, I don't agree with that. I don't, you can say the last few episodes were peak, but the show as a whole is not peak. It's not the best thing. It's not this unbelievable thing. I felt like, and I've been saying this throughout this entire series, I felt like if they condensed this show to like a fewer episodes, like 12 episodes, or like 15 or whatever, this show would have been way better. This show would have been actual peak if it was just 12 episodes. If they cut out and trimmed out a lot of the fat, a lot of wasted repetitive shit, if they stopped with all the boring like scenes that we don't need and extended scenes of just them standing and staring, it would have been a lot better. But I will say one good thing about the show is it was very unpredictable. I cannot sit here and say it's predictable. A lot of people cannot because a lot of our theories and thoughts that we had that the direction it was going to go in, it did not go in that way. So I don't think it's predictable. The only thing that I would say one person got predict or was able to predict was the Super Saiyan 4 thing. And that was, Saiyan Scholar. So shout out to him for that. But besides that, and him for that at least, the show was not very, it was it was not easy to see what direction they were going to go in. I made many theories and assumptions what it was going to happen in the next episode or the show as a whole, and I was wrong in most of my predictions. So I can admit that there was a couple things I was wrong about, but this show is not peak. If it was to be peak, it would have had a lot more. There would be more of a higher rating. There would be more viewership. People wouldn't have dropped off the viewership. A lot of these episodes wouldn't have pointless scenes because I bet you if you rewatch the show as a whole again from the beginning to the end, you're gonna be like, damn, they really did waste a lot of time on stupid shit that we didn't need. We didn't need whole 20 episodes of all this. They could have spent more time on the, show explaining it, but I won't give them shit for the fights because the last 3 or maybe 4 episodes, we've been getting just pure fights. We got fights for the last 3, 4 episodes. So I can't give a shit for not having that many fights because this whole fight with Goma has been pretty long. It was actually pretty fun and entertaining. I thought Goma's a lame ass character. He's a lame villain. But once when he got the third eye, he was pretty tough and pretty badass. But yeah, without that, he's pretty lame. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it I have to say about Dragon Ball Daima. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I'm just happy that this final episode proved what I said. I've been waiting on this because people have been disagreeing with me saying it's canon. YouTubers were saying it's canon, and then their audience were attacking me saying I'm an idiot and I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about, and they're gonna explain this. And they were making these headcanons of him erasing their memory as it's confirmed or this is just how it is. Like, no, it's not. It's never been stated anywhere. Where you guys getting this shit? You're pulling this all out of your ass just to, save face and try and make it sound like it is. But they're wrong, and I've proven my point, so that's enough. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned for next time.